Let's just do it. Had a good around 50 minutes before I have to. Thought we just whatever this is called, but I think it has its name now. I haven't uploaded the first episode. I'm thinking called Mike is Hot. The name that I had rolling around and decided on it, so we'll give it that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just figured I had some time, so another one of these episodes. I don't really have anything I want to talk about. One thing that I've realized is that I need to write down the thoughts that I have that I want to talk about on TikTok because if I don't forget them, I don't remember them long enough until I thought I'd do these perhaps a bit regularly. That's just not the case right now. Last one I did was days ago. Start becoming see after this if it'll become more regular since I will have that happen. So what's on my mind for today? Today I should say is November 3rd, 2022. Halloween has passed. Another week has passed. Have happened. But I think the most pressing issue I talked about in the first episode still has not resolved. Uh, that being Shell still hasn't said whether or not wants to try long distance um, graduation. And I've been trying to not bring it up also because she's been going through kind of a rough patch last week. I think it was literally a day or after. I think it was 2 days after I last recorded. Basically, Sunday, and we're walking home. Went to a pumpkin carving gathering party thing, friend's house, and then we were going home after that because she wanted to leave. She was just really in a mood. By I mean really in a mood, I meant like the whole 40 minute walk back. She didn't talk to me once. I thought I did something wrong. I thought she was mad at me. Apparently, she was in a mood. Um, but that's just not a good excuse. I wasn't very happy with that because I mean, just imagine walking back 40 minutes, one place to another. Person like walking fast as if trying to leave me behind, not talking to me. She's not looking at me. What am I supposed to interpret except that she's mad at me? So it wasn't very fun. Next day, she was just in a mood, but I mean, not okay even if that to some. But I still, you know, I want her not be in a mood. I want her to be. And she was talking about how recently she's always in a mood. Everything that's stressing her out in her life these past few months, weeks, semester. So, been trying to give her some space, trying to help her so whatever happens, snap out of it. And I think one thing that goes towards that goal is not bringing up things that will stress her, and I think this will stress her. Consider. So, hopefully, I'm thinking I can probably record another one of these Thursday right now. Um, hopefully I can record one of these, and what I'll do is over the weekend I'm hoping to get a final answer on that because I think it's important for and for her, just know, um, just know for sure what happened. Not exactly a plan, but I can accept it, move forward, and know, have an idea of the future, like what's going. And I think that's very important. Especially 'cause it's been weighing on my mind this past week. Whenever she first told me, "Fuck, man, gotta think about this. Gotta know what I'm going to do." That'll be one goal for the weekend. Um, what else has been on my mind? What else is relevant in the world? Well, one thing is I am prepping for a performance. My friend, we both the Chinese Yo Stuko at CMU, and around 9 days for let's say Taiwanese culture night, Chinese yo-yo performance for that. I'm prepping, and that is definitely something looking forward to. Something that is I do love performing. Right before the performance, you always have the nerve. Shit, man. There's gonna be a crowd forming, nerve wracking, but um, afterwards it always feels so satisfying. Even if you fail, it's just like we did this. That was pretty good. We had some good moments. I like it. Um, yeah, we're hoping. I'm sure that that kind of feeling is gonna come back again because that's what always happens after a performance. I don't know. I just get a rush when performing with yo-yo. I think it's a very fun thing. I wish I had more opportunity to it, but I guess I don't really actively look out and try and find opportunities as well, but I can definitely try and do that. I think one other thing I wanted to talk about besides that's just has recently happened is like a month ago or a month and a couple weeks ago, maybe months ago. Probably not 2 months ago, more like a month and I signed up for our school's SCS for All. There was a mentorship for the School of Computer Science, and basically what it does is I think it matches different grade levels SCS together as part of like. Then you can get to know each other, talk. Younger students ask the older advice and stuff. However, so I signed up for that, thinking back then this could be interesting thing to do, fun. So this past week, got an email with our family members. Uh, one person started the conversation chain. Was like, "Hello, nice to meet you all. Blah 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 blah. We should at some time forward to talking." And I saw that, and I was like, "Hey, good for them." And then I didn't reply until like 2 days later. Now you might be thinking, "Shame on you for replying so late." Well, I still did better than the other two because they didn't even reply. So I think this family thing, mentorship family thing, dead on arrival. All people don't see, except for that one person, including me. I don't think uh, that enthusiastic about it. Really engaging in it at all. Not even making an effort. So I guess the reason I want to bring it up is I did it because I thought it would be a good way, especially people in different grades from me, because that is always something that can be difficult to encounter and see. My bubble is just seniors in post computer. science. I know a couple seniors in outside of computer science as well, but it's almost all seniors. Not a whole lot of diversity in other kinds of thought, suit, school, especially year wise. So that's something that I was looking for. Um, yeah, and well, that just not happen because people are not that um motivated about it. So I mean, I could put in more effort. I could certainly follow up email. That's if I really want to do this. But the thing is, if I don't do it, I'm always gonna be thinking like, well, that was just a thing. I feel like I should at least try and um put in the effort because at the end of the day, people aren't gonna really think anything. They think I'm being such a annoying nerd for sending another email. Well, people, I don't know, I wouldn't have vibed with them anyway. Um, I think that's a mindset change that is important to have, and it's kind of one that I've developed more as I grow older, which is instead of worrying about what other people will think of you when you do certain actions, to instead more think of, I think this is the right thing to do, I'm going to do it. And if people actually do think weirdly or negatively because of your actions, if you truly believe your actions were good or not cringe or not weird, then I think it's up to people instead. And they're just people on different wavelengths than you. Probably wouldn't have gotten along. Okay. Um, it's along the veins of being yourself, but in this sense, it's more of just doing what you think is right and what you think you should do, not letting the opinion of others affect that. Now, this is not always a good thing because other people's can be good. Sometimes your ideas are just trash, and running it through the reactions of other people can help you be like, okay, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that. And I certainly, it's not like I've gotten rid of this mindset at all because, of course, it's still important. Social people understand the reactions that people have to us when we. So, of course, that's always still in the back of my mind, but I think I've just transitioned more that other thing that I was talking about, where more of, look, if you really don't like or think what I'm doing is dumb, well, I don't think I would have vibed with you. Um, so more of a transition, and I guess what this podcast is about is it'll be interesting to see in later episodes, later down the years, down the months, down the weeks, how I change. Am I still going to have this mindset in a couple units of time? I guess you know me. I talked about this in the first episode. I'm tangential. These thoughts just come into my head. I was just saying that phrase. Time. I was just thinking that's another thing I feel like I should stop. No, I do this in conversation. This on like podcasts. I just say instructions that are just so contrived, so stupid, and they're only there to make it more complicated for whoever is listening, whether it be you, the audience, or whoever I'm talking to. This makes it harder for them to understand what I'm saying. So when I said in the following units of time, why did I not just say the coming week years? That just makes a lot more sense than whatever the hell I was trying to say with units of time, right? And I notice that I do this a lot of the time. Try and think, not even witty, it's just something different. And something I wonder is, do people think this is a trait of Patrick that other people are like, they mention Patrick. What do you think of Patrick? One of the things they'll think about is this guy just makes the stupidest, tries to complicate conversations as much as possible. by making, I don't know, good remarks that just drag the conversation into a more complicated, annoying place. And they would not be wrong because I have identified that about myself, and I feel like I consciously try and stop that sometimes. But then other times I consciously know that I'm doing it and I still continue because that's just part of who I am. I really don't know. I think I more if this really is a good thing that I want to continue doing. It's interesting, to say the least. Not exactly sure if it is something I want to do, but we'll see. So, yeah. Let's talk about some things that I have written on this doc. Since I did, oh, my nose, did have a doc listed, the doc, master doc that I put for all the ideas that I have talk about when I'm doing the show. Um, because you can't always just talk about what happened in your day. Actually, I can. I bet I could ramble on. That's what I did the last time. I was just talking about my situation with Michelle for like 30 minutes, but sometimes I think it's good to have some diversity. A lot of companies have. Is that an example of what I just did? Just saying these like random, semi-witty, I think, things. Like, so I was just talking about diversity, and I just made this comment about as companies have started to do. Should I keep doing that? I don't know. I guess it's just something I do now. This time I didn't consciously know I was doing it. Just a thought, a connection that I saw. I thought of diversity. And I gotta say it out loud. I gotta just say it out loud for everybody. Okay, again, tangential. Um, I was saying it's important to have diversity topics that you talk about in the show. So it's not just me moaning about relationships or about what's been happening recently, and can get a larger spread of topics to talk about. Thoughts that sometimes come to my mind trouble me. So one such thing was recently I watched a video from, I think he's called Healthy Gamers on YouTube, channel name, but the person, I think he's called Dr. K. I've seen him before on Twitch. Is pretty prevalent. He's got an audience like that Twitch psychologist person. Like people like go onto his show oftentimes, lots of times big streamers, and they'll like talk about their problems. He'll like try and help them because I think he's a psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever the hell. Which one does the function that I was talking about, helping people through talking? But he has a YouTube channel as well, and he had this video. I'm guessing it's from a live stream. And this video was about, are you filler friend? So, what is the filler friend? In his video, he defined the filler friend as the person is often left out. Like you're in a group of friends, but you're often left out, not invited to certain things. You're just there as part of the group, but it's not like people really talk to you. It's like if you're not part of the group, nothing would really be lost. Nobody would really be different. No core component of the group, the identity. And I think my idea of a filler friend is somewhat similar. I think my idea coming into war was really fulfilling the filler role, which was it's basically a friend where it's very interchangeable. You can replace the filler friend with a different filler friend, and the experience will still be the same because you have core people that you want in whatever group activity or you're having a friendship. And those are the people that really matter. And then the filler friends, they just don't matter as much. They're filler. They are what pads out your life. You have the core experiences, you need the mush in between that gives the core experience a little bit more detail and flavor. And these filler friends accomplish that by just coming along and giving you that mush, the extra little bit of sauce. And since they're filler, they're interchangeable. It doesn't really mean you need one friend or another because you haven't really developed any kind of connection with you. So, watching that video as the person, Dr. King, how do you escape being the filler friend? Are you the filler friend? First, talking about strategies, I guess, for identifying whether you are the filler friend or whether you know people that are filler friends to you, right? And then giving strategies about how to escape that, how to then not be the filler friend. And part of, I didn't watch the whole video, but I did watch like part one of what he said of strategies. One of them was developing, being able to have better conversations, right? Um, and this is something that I am very aware of. Something I think about quite a lot, actually, about how to have and initiate good conversations with, where it's not just superficial small talk, but you actually go into something more interesting. And reason I've thought about this is because I'm doing things like this right now, and I did a podcast before, right? These whole endeavors are all about talking and talking with, at least with the podcast, talking with people, right? Engaging in conversation. And you don't want the whole podcast to just be a small talk fest the whole time. And one thing that I guess you could say prided on, but I don't know if I really executed as successfully as I thought. The one thing that I certainly attempted, I will say, for the podcast when I did it, was whenever we had guests on, I would try my best to find engaging questions that would make them feel very comfortable in talking. I wanted them to feel like they were here and they were enjoying. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm here, kind of fun. I did it because Patrick asked me, but I don't actually really want to be here. I wanted to where they were actually invested in the conversation. They were like very willing to share, give stories about what they went through, and just have these conversations, right? That's the whole point of podcasting. And it was something that I really tried to do, even without the guest episodes. It was just a battle every time trying to get my friend on the podcast that I did it with to engage because sometimes he was just not into it. Sometimes I'd bring up topics, there'd be really no reaction, and then I'd try a little bit more, maybe ask a few more interesting questions, some searcher questions. I don't know how you would describe it into trying to um get him to engage, and sometimes it worked, oftentimes not work. Um, so you know that kind of stuff happens. Um, yeah, I'm being distracted. I doing this on the laptop is sometimes a bad idea because I just go on Instagram. Maybe I should deactivate my tangent, tangent alert. Perhaps I should do that because that is starting to take some of my time. Really, not a lot of time. It's like 10 minutes every day, 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, like every day. But I don't think Instagram has ever brought me happiness. It's like I go on it, I see what other people are doing, and me being the really jealous, insecure person that I am, I'm just like, fuck. I wish I was doing something so cool like that. I wish I was cool. I wish I went to things. I wish I was at parties. I wish I had deep, meaningful friendships where I could take pictures with people and seem all happy. And yeah, that just gives me bad feelings and bad vibes every either neutral vibes. It's just like some days I'm better than others where I'm just like, oh, cool. And maybe even positive ones where I'm happy for people. I'm like, oh, you're doing this. That's very cool. But more often than not, it's not great vibes. And I think my coping mechanism that I developed throughout high school when dealing with stuff like that was straight up just not use it. Just disconnect from it at entirely, and then that way you are insulated from any bad things from it. Now, is this the right way to deal with problems? To just run away from them and like put up walls, literally build a wall against your problem so that it won't happen? Well, probably not. I think most people would say that is not a healthy way to go about doing stuff like that. But, I'm not always about the healthy, and I'm more about the easy because I'm lazy, and that is easy thing. So perhaps I will do that. Um, I guess I was just God. Now that just made me think like, fuck, am I really missing out on stuff? I'm usually pretty good in my life at picking out those feelings from my head, being like, yeah, I'm happy with my life. But then, when I go on Instagram or hear about other people's things, that's when it surfaces. Maybe living in ignorance, as this is the coping mechanism that I was describing. It is just living in ignorance of your friends' lives, literally thinking that they do nothing because nothing. It could be good. Could be good. So I just went on a massive tangent, but honestly, the tangent is tangential. Haha. The tangent is tangential to what I was talking about, which is filler friends. And what I was talking about was having, or what I was going to go into from the filler friends topic was I don't want to be a filler friend. Well, it's actually inevitable. You are going to be a filler friend to many people because that's just how it is. You can't have meaningful friendships with every single person that you're friends with. Some people are just not going to be friends to others. And what important is I gotta have a drink of water real quick. I actually have some water this time. Right? What is important, as I was saying, what I think is important then is having those few strong friendships, right? You're not going to be able to do that with everyone, but you have to pick who you want to have those strong, enduring friendships with. And sometimes I feel like I just fail in that regard. I just yeah, I guess what this video did for me was I already knew I was going to be a filler friend with some people. I think what it helped me, what it showed to me was, do I really even have a lot of strong friendships? And if I do have those strong friendships, am I actually keeping them strong? Am I doing my part in maintaining those friendships? So, one definite flaw that I have as of November 3rd, 2022 is my communication in friendship conversation is not the greatest. Oftentimes, I don't communicate a lot. And this is something that I've just noticed a lot, right? I was another tangent, but this is tangent and related with what I'm saying here. Yesterday, November 2nd, I was playing Catan with some friends I had over the summer. And we've basically formed this Catan group that we play. And we are playing a couple. And near the end, or when we were just talking during the game of Catan, they were mentioning about how they all just call each other um, at certain times. Well, it's more of one person calling other people, but it just made me feel like it made me think I'm not good at I just don't do that. it's something I know that I don't do, but made me think, am I doing this wrong? Should I be doing? And let me explain what this is. This is what I'm talking about. It is being more open to actually just calling people, just straight up calling people when you don't have any reason to. And I feel like the only person I really do that with, first of all, Michelle, when not in the same city, but also my sister. And actually, and then I don't really do that with anyone else, especially not to the that these people. And I feel like part of the thing is, am I even an open person who, um, am I even an open person where seems like I would be receptive to people calling me? So I think part of it is just in the persona you give off. Are you the type of person where people will think of you like, yeah, I can call this guy up, I can just bring him up, and we'll have a good conversation, and I can unload some problems I have and some thoughts that I'm feeling. Talk to him, and I really don't think I am that person. I don't think people ever think that of me. Or they're, yeah, I'll just ring this guy up, and we'll talk. Um, yeah, I don't think that happens because I'm just uh not 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 like that. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just I got distracted again. I was going on the website of one of my classes. I'm skipping class right now to do. Did wake up late anyway. Um, but apparently we're supposed to do. I guess I just won't do a lesson. But we were supposed to do some stuff anyway. Um, I what was I saying? I was stuff about not being talked to, falling. And I think that is completely true. And I don't. I feel like the only way to fix this, right? Develop. Oh no. Oh, will regard you from. I think this persona has given the idea that type of call with that you just randomly bring up and you're like, yo, what's up? And is it just because some people are more like that? It might be okay that you're not like that person. Just that I develop friendships or I gravitate to people that don't do that as well. Where it's just that I gravitate to people where they don't straight up call people well. Um, I don't know. It's hard something. I'm just thinking, am I supposed to change and be calling people more and have because in essence that is a stronger relationship. But I guess what I have to think about is do I want that with these, and I do. I really like these people, but at the same time I feel like I don't know if I'm thinking of these thoughts just because FOMO again, just because I know other people are doing that and I'm not. I be doing, or do I really care about having these conversations? And on top of that, if I do want these conversations, what are the steps I have to do to start doing that? To start being a person that people are willing to do that with. I think the only way to fix that I've identified is to the only way to do that is to legitimately come, as you would say, um, initiate myself and start reaching out to people, calling them. Now, thing is, I don't know if that's exactly what I really want to do, right? So, in that battle that I'm having, where it's like, is this what I want to do, or is this not something I want to do? This internal battle that I have, back and forth, back and forth. Um, um, God, I don't know what I'm saying. I guess is what this podcast is a lot of the times, where I just have thoughts that aren't very structured. So I'm just in a dilemma. I don't know what to do. I start reaching out to people, and I think I've done one step. Not the actually calling people, but after watching that video, it all comes from that filler friend video. Maybe if I that hadn't showed up on my YouTube recommendation, I would again be living in ignorance, and I would not be having these troubling thoughts. But at the same time, it would also mean that I'd just be living in, you could say, a lower state, where because I'm not having these thoughts, then perhaps I am really just forsaking some of the relationships that I have and not sticking to. So, as I was saying, that video spurred me to try and improve the communication that I have in various relationships that I think are important. So, what does that mean? That meant people that I haven't texted in a while, I think are people that I want to have strong relationships with, or better relationships, people that I want to improve with. I reached out and I texted, and that was step one. And I think step two is maintaining this. It means keeping up the text and not just being radio silent after like one day, right? Um, because I think one thing that's developed is, hmm, I don't know. I don't know if this is an incorrect mindset or idea of texting culture. I feel like sometimes if you say something and they don't respond for a couple days, my default response approach is to just be like, okay, we'll let it live. We won't say anything. We won't like try and continue the conversation, and we'll just let it die, right? Because I don't want to break. I don't want to seem needy, where it's like even after I said something and never responded, I texted again. And I think this is a toxic mindset to have. Maybe not toxic, but just that incorrect, and also a mindset that does not contribute growth in the, because if you really want to talk with something or with someone, you're going to try and continue the conversation. What? And I think it might be important for me to do that. Even if people just stop responding to me, don't respond to me, I should try and continue the conversation. And this doesn't mean always immediately responding, even when people not immediately responding, but having consistent communication where I'm like, this person, I can talk to them about this. I can bring up memes that I saw, show it to them, and I think they'd be funny. And I think that's important for having a strong relation with a certain friend. I think that's pretty important, and it's something that I think I'm gonna have to learn to do. Something that I'm trying to get better at. And I've started with some baby steps. I guess I'll say some concrete things. So when I'm listening back at this, when the audience is listening, it's not like I'm just spewing, volcanoing, fucking bullshit out my ass. More like I have some concrete things I did, right? Okay, now that I talk about it, kind of sad because the only concrete thing is one person, but at least it's somebody. Or actually, it's two people. So after the filler friends, I was thinking, okay, who are some deep friendships I want to maintain? I've already maintained. They're really good friendships, but I feel like I'm not holding out my hand. Those were my two high school friends, Ben and Ayush. Um, and I was like, I want to continue talking with these people. So I reached out to them because I haven't been texting with them. Haven't like I don't know what's happening in their lives and I want to know. And that's just one easy way to get started. So there we go. I said it out loud. Now you guys know. I did something concrete. I reached out to Ethan. I reached out to Ayush. I was like, "Yep. What's up? How are you guys doing? How you've been? Getting into conversation. What are you guys gonna do after graduation?" I was doing that more with Ayush. I was like, "Yeah. How was your break that you had? Um, etc., blah 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 blah, really blah 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 blah, right? Um, yeah. So congratulations, me. I guess I've said that out there. Now you know this is something that I did, something that I've accomplished. So congratulations. Okay, I'm glad that I did this. I think that was something that is important to say. Um, And this was all, it all just comes back to that filler friend video. Am I a filler friend? Am I a fraud? Am I someone that people will just forget? That is what the original topic I'd put on this list before I even watched that filler friend video. And I guess I'll expand on that more in future videos, future episodes. Um, which is talking about, I guess, friendships again. Kind of stuff just keeps me up, man. It just well, maybe keeps me up is not the right word, but it's thoughts that maintain presence in my head because there's still that insecurity there about friendship. It's like if I left this world, if I just went AWOL for a week, who would notice? Who would care? Who would care? And maybe it's not just a week. It's like a year. But these friends, friendships that I said, would they really care if I was gone for a year? They never heard from me. Okay. What they think. I don't know. I think these are important questions I have to discuss with you guys, the audience. I have to discuss out loud. And I think it's important I have a game plan that I know what to think. Because post graduation coming up, I'm gonna have to be doing that scary thing again. That scary thing that I didn't really have to do until college. And something that I didn't even know how I did. That thing being I'm going to a new city, a new phase in my life where nearly all the people I once knew are not going to be around me. There's going to be a twofold question. Number one, how am I going to make new friends? That's a really tough question. I don't think people have really always answered that because it's tough to make. It's a process and really just does take time. Number two, and I think perhaps even more important, who are my real deep friendships that I want to maintain afterward? Because friendships are easy to maintain when you guys are in the same place. If you're not in the same place, what this whole question is about. Are you going to put in the effort to maintain it? I think with my track record, I've not been very good at that. And I think that is something I need to get better at. Something I want to get better at. So, I will bring you on that journey of trying to get better. And I think that's going to be it for episode 2 of me rambling and talking about the thoughts in my head. Episode 2 of The Mic is Hot, as I think the name is fitting. The mic is just on, and I'm just talking and talking and talking and talking, and my throat is getting parched. Didn't have water this time, but I found out that water is not always the most helpful. So, yeah. But episode 2, done and dusted. And what's up next? What is up next is. Yeah. What is up next? Thing that is up next is we're gonna have episode 3. So thank you everybody for listening. Again, my audience, myself, I will be listening to this at some point. Love yourself. I want to tell myself you are a good person for at least trying to work it out, to think about these things. You're trying to improve, and I think that's commendable. Thank you, myself. Thank you for the kind words. To my friends that I share this with, hopefully you don't think any different of me. I'm probably not going to show you this until I've done like a couple, maybe at least a year of this, couple episodes. So please don't think anything different of me now that you've heard what 1 year ago Patrick, or how many years ago Patrick was like. And to my kids, I have kids, and if I show them this, well, yeah, I mean, you're gonna have thoughts about me, but I'll always be your parent, and I'll always love you. And hopefully, this doesn't diminish what you think of me. I think I'm a goofy guy. We'll see. Okay, until next time, we'll have episode 3 of The Mic is Hot.